Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And I gotta say, a phenomenal episode of NXT. You figure now, it's gonna be, I think, 2 weeks until Takeover Dallas, and this show really laid, I think, the last bit of ground for that show. We got some major matches announced, some number one contenders determined, and some quality matches along the way. This episode packed a punch. I mean, this is why Wednesday night, we may not call it a war anymore, but that doesn't mean Wednesday night isn't the place to be if you are a wrestling fan looking for your quality fix. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Ashton, what did you think of it?
This was a really good episode of NXT. I don't think it was a perfect show by any means, but like if you would arrange the entire library of NXT TV since it became NXT at Full Sail and arrange them in quality from best to worst, this was in the top 10%, I would say.
I would agree with you. I think this was a productive episode. I think this was an excellent episode. Really just nothing but good things to say. So with that said, let's get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And yeah, no heats of the night tonight. I just thoroughly enjoyed this show, man.
Yeah, same here. I mean, there are little things I could complain about, like, oh, the hype bros, and oh, Zack Ryder deserves so much better, and oh, they just made me say Zack Ryder deserves better, and all that kind of stuff. But that's all more subjective, and me just kind of being butthurt about some things. So, yeah, I mean, realistically, there was nothing really legitimately worth complaining about on this show.
I completely agree. With that said, let's keep the ball rolling. Let us get right into our NXT review. And brother, if I'm not mistaken, Sami Zayn opened the show, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we got a brief recap of last week's number one contender match to actually open the show, which kind of transitioned into Sami showing up, which I thought was a little bit, a little disjointed, because it's like the last thing you see in the video package is Sami Zayn passing out to a Coquina clutch. And then his music hits and he comes out and he's smiling and he's jumping around and dancing and he's all happy. And then, that kind of felt like it cheapened it a little bit, but then he got on the mic and he kind of explained it away in a pretty good way. Because he basically said, last week he was in a war and he respects the hell out of Joe, and if he could have lost to anyone, he's glad it's him and stuff. But then, he kind of turns around and he's like, the one thing that I really don't like is that this NXT TakeOver Dallas show is going to be such a big deal, and the spotlight's going to be on us, and we were going to steal the show and stuff, but it's, I'm not on the show right now because I lost last week. And then when Regal comes out, and Regal informs Sami that he is going to be at NXT TakeOver Dallas because Regal found him an opponent, and then he introduces us to the Titantron, which, John, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura, people, revealed as Sami's big opponent for NXT TakeOver Dallas. Though, Ashton, I must ask you, because I could not hear it with the crowd being so loud because they were just exclaiming, holy shit, at this revelation. Did you catch anything that Nakamura said in his video message?
I heard him say, I think it was, hello, Sami. And the one thing I know for sure that I caught was, I'll see you in Dallas.
Fair enough. I mean, that's all I think.
And I did catch him say NXT, but I'm not entirely sure of the context.
Right. I mean, Nakamura, Sami Zayn. I mean, guys, for those of you that are only learning about the NXT Dallas card, now, and you've just been following the tapings, or those that may have read spoilers or whatever, I mean, you look at how this card has shaped up. I mean, good luck WrestleMania 32, because to me, I feel like this is all out of order. I feel like NXT TakeOver Dallas, the way it's looking right now, should come on after WrestleMania 32 by comparison, because this is a stacked card, and you look at a match like Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura, on paper, definite match of the year contender. Will it deliver? I have no reason to believe that it won't. I mean, you're talking two of the best in the game today. Nakamura, the idea that he finally gets to show what he can do to such a huge global audience, because no offense to New Japan, I know it's popular, but I think a whole different group of people now are going to see
what though,
Nakamura
dude? I actually, believe it or not, I think that you're a little bit off base there, because Meltzer actually reported, I don't know if it was earlier this week or last week, more people in the U.S. have New Japan World than people in Japan have the WWE Network.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Though not entirely surprising, if I'm being honest.
Right.
You know, I think you look at the quality of the products, and I think New Japan, and this is a big compliment to New Japan, even with the departures they've had, I don't think their momentum slowed down, because what they did in response to those departures, Kenny Omega being leader of the Bullet Club, Naito now he's gunning for Okada, they handled it well. They didn't lose their group, whereas WWE, I just feel like main roster especially, NXT is a great place, and you once described it as an oasis. I don't think that's ever been truer, but I think you look at the main roster, they have never been in a tougher spot to me. So that's not really too surprising. Regardless, I mean, even if it is one extra set of eyes, I do think people are going to see Nakamura for the first time that haven't, and it's just going to be such a treat for them. Because when you say, I mean, I know it gets thrown around a lot, best in the world at what I do. No, I would really say that in the industry of pro wrestling, Nakamura is one of the best right now. And the idea that NXT has got him, I think is such a huge catch. And the idea that Sami's his first opponent, I couldn't think of anybody better. I may not be crazy about Sami from a fan perspective, but objectively, I know how good the man is. And these two are going to kill it at Dallas. So, great stuff.
Yeah. All right, so up next, we had our first match of the night, and I'm glad it happened early because we can get it out of the way. The Hype Bros versus Angelo, Dawkins, and Kenneth Crawford. And like I said earlier, Zack Ryder deserves better than this.
And as much as I hate to agree with you, because it is Zack Ryder, I do agree with you. He does deserve better than this.
I mean, at least he gets to go home to Emma, right?
This match, it's not really much you can say about this match. It was more or less a squash, to me. I think Kenneth Crawford actually got a little bit of offense in, or tried. It didn't really amount to anything. Yeah, Hype Bros really dominated this match, particularly Mojo, and then Zach, came in, did his broski boot, and then they did the Hype Rider, that's right, their double team move, to ultimately get the win. I have a feeling I know what their next matchup's going to be given the events of tonight. I do think, they're going to resume their program with the Vaudevillains, which, is fine. I actually kind of hope the Vaudevillains win again, obviously, but I actually think the Hype Bros may be getting ready for some kind of push, maybe as potential tag title contenders down the road.
Yeah.
As much as I just shudder at the thought of Mojo Rawley holding NXT Gold, I may have to start to learn to like the taste of that glass. I don't know yet. We'll wait and see. But yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon unless they turn heel, because I think American Alpha is taking the titles at Dallas.
That is a very sexy sentence that just came out of your mouth. I hope it's right. I really do, because we'll talk about them later, because I have plenty to say. But yeah, Hype Bros win tonight. They're on a roll, man. That loss, the whole story is it really kind of woke them up. They've been taking the tag division more seriously. And yeah, they get another win. So for those of you that are Hype Bros fans, it's nice to meet all one of you, and you must be really happy that they got the win tonight.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on. Up next, we got a recap of the Arnold Classic, which I thought was really cool because we got to see just cool little moments like Finn skanking with Sami, and like Bayley holding up the Ty Dillinger 10 sign, like little stuff like that where people interact that don't normally. I think that's really cool, and I want to see more of that in NXT.
Yeah, well, it's just that nice, intimate look. See, that's what I call really peeling back behind the curtain, not all these like work shoots or this or that. It's the lighter moments, that you don't really get to see so often. I mean, I can't tell you how adorable I thought the videos were of like Bayley and Finn at live events, just kind of having fun together, dancing, or Bayley imitating Finn, or Finn imitating Bayley, which actually happened. Those are the really cool moments I'd like to see a lot more of. And like you said, in this particular video package, we got to see Finn, skanking with Sami and just having a good time. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. I agree. They need to do more stuff like this. But up next, we had Emma and Dana Brooke walking down the hall. Deonna Purrazzo is there, and they run into her, and Emma, points out that they told her how bad of a time she was going to have against Asuka the other week, and she didn't believe them, or she thought she could, do better or whatever. And she says that the Evolution was coming full force tonight, and then Deonna, she's so cute, isn't she? She thinks she can stop the Evolution. It's not going to happen.
You know that little laugh that you had that kind of preceded your explanation? I mean, that's pretty much my review of Deonna Purrazzo's response. Like, that's real cute, kid. It's nice that the coat rack for Emma's, stuff before she gets into her ring attire, chooses to have a voice and just be like, I can fight too. No, not against Emma. You can't. Sorry, though. It was a really good effort. But yeah, Emma just educating her. I'm going to hurt you. Evolution can't be stopped. And Emma is still one of just the best things in my life and one of the best things in NXT. So she's amazing. I love it. And I got to be honest, I'm even starting to warm up to Dana Brooke a little bit as like the mouthpiece kind of enforcer, kind of talking Emma up for these matches. It's a good dynamic those two share. And I'm just still really enjoying it.
Yeah. This segment was a little bit awkward because I know that at the very beginning, Emma kind of, it was like she was trying to think of what she wanted to say. Did you catch that?
A little bit, yeah.
It was weird. I don't know. I mean, it was a cool segment, if for no other reason, because we just kind of got to see Emma just kind of reassert that dominance as the Queen of Strong Style.
Yeah, really.
That's my official name for her now. She's the Queen of Strong Style. I mean, I'm sure my ignorance is showing because I'm sure there are dozens of Japanese wrestlers that are way more brutal than she is in the ring. We know where Asuka's coming from, but to me, just Emma, her aggressiveness and how vicious and relentless she is in the ring, at least for NXT, I think that's the perfect fit for the title Queen of Strong Style.
Oh, completely agree with you. It has a wonderful ring to it, too. Love the ring to that. So, there you go.
Yeah. So then we move on to the match itself, Deonna Purrazzo versus Emma. And I just have in my notes here that this was another Emma Queen of Strong Style match. This was another match where she was able to reassert her dominance. She destroyed Deonna. Every time Deonna looked like she was going to come back a little bit, Emma was just like, God damn it, can you not learn your place? And beats her down again. It was awesome.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gotta say, too, what I really liked about this, and what I'm really liking about this whole Deonna Purrazzo thing, she keeps having this confidence saying she's learning from her mistakes. I wonder if her story's gonna be like the making of an NXT women's wrestler. You know what I mean? Like a successful one. Like Deonna Purrazzo just rising through the ranks, because she's gotten snuffed out by Asuka now and by Emma. But it's like, oh, okay, I'm learning from these losses. I'm going to come back stronger. I wonder if she's going to start to put wins together before the year's over. So I do have to wonder that, because she did get some nice
Well, they're
offense.
clearly giving her some kind of a story, which sadly is more than I can say about Peyton and Billy.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to get their turn. Oh, God. In fact, I mean, not to sound like an asshole, because I really don't mean it that way, but I was even telling Ashley when this segment happened, at first I didn't, register that it was Deonna Purrazzo, and I guess my mind just jumped to, oh my God, is that Billy Kay or Payne Royce? Are they doing the Australian faction final? I was getting all pumped, and then it wasn't happening, but, I don't have a problem with Deonna. It's just, I really feel like Billy Kay and Payne Royce are going to be the next big things in this women's division. To really be groomed and break out. And you've been saying that forever now. That's been your torch you've been carrying. And I've certainly seen it, and I think it's going to happen. But hey, if Deonna can make something of herself, I mean, I want everybody to succeed. We've said that so many times on TWitWoW. So if she's getting a story where she goes back to these losses very reflective, okay, I got my ass kicked, but... and then goes back to the drawing board and does a little bit better this time. Because I feel like she actually did do a little bit better this time. She got a nice knee lift at one point, and she was stringing together offense. I mean, obviously it wasn't enough, but she seemed more competitive in this match. She seemed like she was really bringing the fight. So I think there's going to come a point where she starts stringing wins together and she starts figuring this out. And to be quite honest, can I just say this too, since I'm already so invested in Deonna, with this whole monologue, I'm hoping it doesn't come by way of a heel turn. Because I think we've already seen that.
Yeah, dude, I was honestly thinking, that segment in the hallway kind of reminded me of something that we would have seen between Summer and Sasha before the turn.
Yeah, see, I'm hoping it's not by a heel turn, because we've already seen Sasha turn heel and be successful. Charlotte turn heel and be successful, and Becky turn heel and be successful at least for a time with Sasha Banks. Like,
well, it's a formula that works. Why would they change it?
I mean, that's true, and granted, we have seen it also on the babyface side. I mean, Bayley never turned, to be fair, but I just think I would prefer to see Deonna stay the course, unless she really demonstrated great chemistry with a heel that would want to, like, get in her. Because I felt like Summer and Sasha had solid chemistry. Becky and Sasha had great chemistry, because Sasha is just so wonderful. She rubs off of anybody and just becomes compatible with them. But yeah, for the time being, let's just keep her face and see where that goes. I'm hoping they're not thinking of tampering with that. But yeah. Solid matchup. Emma wins. John's happy. That's all that matters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Up next, we had the Vaudevillains stretching backstage, really just like probably a 15-second video just to show them that, like, they're preparing for their match tonight. It's like a hype thing, and yeah, the match ended up being really good, so maybe the stretching helped. Up next, we had Tomasso Ciampa versus Jesse Sorensen. I enjoyed this match. I think Ciampa's aggression is going to take him places, and honestly, while I was watching this match, all I could think was, well, if the rumors are true and Joe gets called up to the main roster around WrestleMania, I think Finn's next opponent, if not Baron Corbin, which obviously, naturally, that's who I hope it is, but if not, I think Ciampa should be in the running at this point.
And this is our ESPN moment of the night, ladies and gentlemen, because I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
While I'm watching Tomasso work, all I could think was, honestly, Finn's next opponent. Yep. He has to be. Because to me, dude, I'm going to be honest with everybody, because I've known Tomasso a little bit, thanks to you, Sicilian Psychopath. We'd watch ROH, we'd watch anywhere else he was, because PWG was another hot spot for Tomasso. I like the guy, but I could never really say, like, I was crazy about him. I'm loving his heel work in NXT. It's a lot like Joe. Like, I always liked Joe, but now I love Joe. And I feel like I went from liking Tomasso to I'm getting close to loving Tommaso Ciampa right now. Because he goes in there and he just fucks you up. And, like, he wants you to know, because I think he got tired, with Johnny Gargano, like, being the guys that put on really quality matches, but always come up short. He's like, screw that. I want to win, damn it. Who doesn't want to win? And he goes in there and he messes you up. I love that, because, and to me, people might hear that and they might think, oh, so exactly like Samoa Joe. But no, because he's just got his own distinct style to me. I love how he just really just grounds Sorensen there. He got the elbows before getting the armbar. That knee where he trapped the head between the legs. Good God, man. Like, everything was so good. I wish he would, and I really shouldn't say he because it's not his fault. I hope, I should say, NXT lets him talk more. Because I would really like to see a personality be developed with this aggression. And I've seen promos from Ciampa when you first introduced me to him, where, again, Sicilian Psychopath, and he really gave off that vibe. Give this guy a mic and let him just speak for himself. I think you could really have something here. And I've been asking, who could end Finn's championship reign. It may not be Joe if he's getting ready to go over to the main roster. Tomasso would not be a bad choice at all. Obviously, I think the natural successor is Baron Corbin. I'm not backtracking from that. Like you, I hope he is the next number one contender. But, I mean, if NXT is really focused on being the place for those indie guys that really draw those people in, Tomasso to me just seems like a logical next step. So this is a fun matchup. If for no other reason, I could see Tomasso kick the shit out of somebody. And, I'm becoming a bigger Tommaso Ciampa fan because he's healed, because he's done playing games. He's like, I'm tired of losing. I want to win. And he's just going in there and he's doing it. So I'm so glad you and I had the same thought, because seeing this Tommaso Ciampa against the Finn Balor that we've all come to know as our champion for so long now at this point, some quality matchups could be in the future there. So, yeah, great definitely. Stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Up next, we had the big tag team match, big women's tag team match. Nia Jax and Eva Marie taking on Bayley and Asuka. And this, not necessarily match of the night, but definitely non-main event match of the night. This was great.
I gotta say, I was so touched. They were a little late, sure, by, a little over a month, but NXT remembered that it was my birthday. I mean, they had to, because seeing Eva Marie get the shit kicked out of her by Asuka, I must be celebrating something, right? It was so good. And dude, here's the thing, and I know a lot of people may want to shoot me for saying this, I do have to give credit to Eva for two things. One, for being such a great punching bag. But more seriously, number two, I loved that one moment in the match where Asuka got the tag in, and Eva knew who was in the ring, and her expression completely changed when Asuka was in the ring.
Yep.
It's like, I can handle Bayley. I had that really competitive match with Bayley, even though I had Nia's help and the ref's help and really everybody's help, but still. And then Asuka gets in the ring, and it's like, oh,
well,
so this is what a wrestler looks like. I am so sorry. This was only for Total Divas footage, and if you just allow me to make the oh god, no, my arm, and then it just ends one blood-curdling scream after another. At least that's how it is in my head. Of course, I need help. But yeah, Eva just gets the crap kicked out of her. It's amazing. Those chest kicks, she really laid them in. Take notes, Brie. No, not really, because I want you to stop doing them altogether. And yeah, Asuka just takes her to task. Then, Bayley gets tagged back in, but then Nia comes in, and she totally changes the game. So this matchup, I think from a booking perspective, was perfect because they protected all vested parties. They obviously wanted to protect the champion in Bayley, Asuka being the really hot asset, the one that comes in as the legitimizer, kicks people's asses, stuff like that. And they want to protect Nia because, look at her, clearly a dominant force, goes in, imposes her will. You don't want her looking weak anytime soon. Right. So, they protected everybody. Ultimately, and I love this too because Eva baits Asuka, with blowing a kiss, and actually she slaps her and then blows her a kiss, and Asuka is just ready to tear her head off. But then it comes back to bite Eva at the end of the match because Nia accidentally leg dropped Eva because she was trying to break up a pin attempt that Bayley had. Bayley drop kicks Nia, and while Eva's trying to gather herself, regain her equilibrium on the other side of the ring, hanging on the ropes, Asuka goes over and she kicks her in the head. And then Bayley just gets the belly to Bayley. So that's the 3 count. Asuka and Bayley win. And then William Regal comes out, and Ashton, I'll let you take it from here.
Well, there's not really a lot to say here. He comes out and he makes the official announcement that NXT TakeOver Dallas are going to have a women's championship match between Bayley and her new number 1 contender, Asuka.
Yeah, and Corey Graves had a great line. He's like, the movie The Ring, you watch it and then bad things happen. And Tom Phillips is like, yeah. And he's like, well, that's Asuka smiling. When she smiles, bad things happen. And all I could think was, Corey, you're underselling it. Bayley's screwed. Because that's not even the worst of it. I am really looking forward to this match. Again, we talk about the Dallas card being stacked, and I can say in the same breath and with a completely straight face that, Sami Zayn and Nakamura and Asuka Bayley, just 2 caliber matchups there. I really cannot wait for this card just for those 2 matches alone. And you gotta wonder, because I don't know what Asuka's future is anytime soon. Because unlike Joe, there haven't been these murmurs of any kind of call-ups or anything. Bayley, I don't know. Bayley's always been an interesting case too. Is this the time that she drops the title and then goes up to the main roster? Or is she meant to be champion a little while longer and somebody else takes it? That's the question. I think this is going to be one of those matchups that when it comes to Dallas preview and predictions, I'm going to really waffle on this one. So I'm already thinking about who am I picking to come out the winner here. Because I just think I'm really going to struggle with it. But yeah, this should be just a kick-ass match. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what match I'm looking forward to more on the NXT TakeOver Dallas card because they are, a lot of them look really phenomenal. Finn Joe honestly might be the match that I care the least about because Baron Corbin, Austin Aries is going to be crazy. This match, Bayley Asuka, I think has maybe not even match of the night, maybe match of the year contender written all over it. Sami versus Nakamura, I can say the same thing about. And then American Alpha versus the frickin' Revival. That match, we have at least 3 potential match of the year candidates on this one show alone.
Yeah, I can already tell you American Alpha Revival is my most anticipated match. I cannot wait for that match because NXT has done tag team wrestling so beautifully, and I've said over and over again on TwitWoW, American Alpha is just amazing. But At that same time, I gotta say too that I think that this matchup, Asuka Bayley, would be my second most anticipated match. Like, because it's just two different styles. Bayley just comes from that era to me of like the Hogan, the Savages, the Ultimate Warriors, you know, whereas Asuka's just straight up smash mouth kind of style, and yet they're both so beloved. I'm looking forward to the reaction of the Dallas crowd to like who are they going to side with? Is it really going to be an even split? You know, I'm going to be very interested where their loyalties are divvied up.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't wait to see a quality matchup. So, yeah, great stuff here. Happy that Asuka's finally getting the chance to shine. And it shows you how much they appreciate and value Asuka, because they didn't pull the trigger on her being number one contender until it was their really big show. I mean, this show is going to be huge. So it's putting a lot of trust in Asuka, you know, finally getting a return on that investment, so to speak. So I'm just stoked.
Yeah, definitely. Man, this is going to be crazy. I'm telling you, like, the worst part of WrestleMania weekend is going to be WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it still sucks that we have to say that, but it's still exciting for the rest of the weekend. And I guess I'm kind of including Monday in that weekend because the post-WrestleMania Raw is always phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we even say WrestleMania 32 is the post-WrestleMania Raw pre-show? So there you go.
That was like the running, I don't know if you remember that heel book trailer from last year where they did the Dean effing Ambrose thing. But yeah, that's kind of what they said too, was that Raw, that WrestleMania was the Raw after WrestleMania pre-show.
All right, man, what came after this?
Up next was a recap of Baron Corbin's attack on Austin Aries, and then Austin Aries got a chance to cut a little bit of a promo.
Yeah, I enjoyed this here. I don't ever remember really liking Austin Aries as a talker from what I saw in TNA. Of course, I could be horribly misinformed, and that is a distinct possibility, but I really enjoyed the chops he demonstrated here. You know, I loved his line that, you know, after the beatdown, William Regal came over, and he said, "I'm sorry." He apologized to me, and I said, "Don't apologize to me. You can save that apology for Baron Corbin, because he's the one that made the mistake. He's the one that's going to get hurt." And I love that he pretty much called Baron Corbin out. He said, "Look, if you were really a man, you wouldn't have attacked me from behind. You would have come out and you would have asked me for advice. Why? Because I've seen guys like you. I've worked hard for what I have, and through all my travels, I've known guys like you. You're big, you think you have everything, but you're so insecure of people like me that have been all over the world and have done it already." And NXT TakeOver Dallas, it's going to be a great day to be great and a bad day to be you. I loved it, man. Great delivery.
I love that closing line. Has he used that before? Is that like a catchphrase of his that I just didn't know about?
I don't know if he has.
If it wasn't before, I think it might be now, because that was pretty intentional, if you ask me.
And here's my thing, and again, I don't want to jump the gun because we really haven't seen Aries yet, but then again, I already kind of did with what I'd like to see from Deonna Purrazzo. I'm hoping that Austin Aries doesn't stay babyface for long, because just the way he talks about himself, even the nickname greatest man that ever lived, if that doesn't ooze heel, I mean, come on. Right. So I'm hoping he goes heel soon, because honestly, if he does, you could add him as another potential future contender after Tomasso and you know, Baron in front of the two of them, you know, whatever. So yeah, man, I think Austin Aries is a great heel for NXT waiting to happen. So we'll see what they do with him. But I enjoyed this, man. Great stuff. Great fire from Aries, actually. He's just sitting there. He's probably had all this time to marinate on that attack. And yeah, he's letting Baron know, I'm coming for you. And that's another thing, too. I'm glad you brought up Baron Corbin versus Austin Aries for TakeOver Dallas, because we've actually known about this match now for 2 weeks, because it got announced last week. And yeah, I think this is going to be another one of those matches that gets grossly underrated by the IWC. I know they're finally starting to warm up to Corbin, I think, a little bit, but, you know, he proved to me in Brooklyn, the match he worked with Joe, like, okay, we've got real quality talent here that can do more than just, you know, 30-second squashes. I enjoyed the match they put together. And you look at a guy that's Austin Aries, like, stature and everything, I think those two can make magic together in Dallas with the kind of heel that Corbin is. So I think it's going to be a great matchup. I'm excited.
Yeah. Man, this This show is just shaping up so well. Like,
I
just keep on, like, I'm sorry if I'm pausing more than usual. I'm just kind of like sitting back and just like, damn, like this show's going to be so good. And it's crazy too, because we have Aztec Warfare next week too. The next 2 weeks of wrestling shows are going to be insane.
Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, I just can't believe it. I mean, I honestly want to take the step and say this could potentially be the best takeover ever. I'm not ready to commit to that yet, but this card, man, is shaping up something fierce.
Yeah.
Like, damn. It's like, and they knew it too, because they're like, this is the show before WrestleMania. Now, obviously, WWE, whether they can see the writing on the wall or they can't, and I'm opted to believe the latter, they're going to believe that WrestleMania is the end-all, be-all. That's what they build towards every freaking year. So NXT, by comparison, they say, okay, well, if we're the show before WrestleMania, we got to be the biggest show that we have in our part of the world. And boy, do they actually mean it. Like, they commit to it, man. You're getting Nakamura's debut on this show. You're getting Austin Aries' in-ring debut on this show. Again, NXT Championship match, Joe Bauer, which, I can understand why, for you, Ashton, that maybe the match you're, like, least anticipating, because we already did see it in London. Plus, there's all that stuff floating around, like, what's going to happen with Joe. But I think, you're dealing with a great heel in Joe, a great babyface in Finn, so the story should be solid. Just everything, man. This takeover is hitting all the notes. And yeah, this is just another segment that really just pumped me up. God, I can't wait for it. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on. Up next, we had officially announced next week Asuka versus Emma, which is going to be freaking incredible. I honestly, just on a personal note, I would look more forward to an Asuka Emma match at NXT TakeOver Dallas than Asuka Bayley.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I love Bayley, don't get me wrong, but I could watch Asuka and Emma work a 30-minute match, and I don't think I'd get sick of it.
I'd get sick of it. I think I'd be jumping out of my seat at it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like, that's...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's dream match material for me, and we've only seen it once, and I feel like the match that we saw was great, but still didn't get enough time.
Yeah. I mean, to me, and I actually do believe NXT will do this, so it's not even me, like, lecturing them or whatever. I mean, this match should be the main event next week on NXT. Asuka, Emma, because I think it'd be a great way to close. You can have Bayley come out on the stage afterwards, kind of make eye contact with Asuka after what I'm presuming is going to be an impressive, win. So yeah, I'd give this the main event slot and give them like 15, 20 minutes and just let them go, man. Just let them go, because they could really blow everybody's minds. So with that said, yeah, we're getting that next week. And am I correct in saying it was main event time, or did we have something else before this?
It is main event time, brother. It is American Alpha versus the Vaudevillains, and I have in my notes, John, how do they keep doing this? And normally it's a reference to how does this garbage, trash heel team keep winning matches? But what it really is referring to is how does American Alpha do the exact same stuff in every match and still have amazing matches every time?
I was asking myself the same question, because for as much as I love these guys, I mean, I think everybody's noticed, like, okay, you do the suplexes, or maybe at the start you work over the body part or whatever. But they did change up the flow just a little bit, and we did get a little something new. Well, I mean, we've seen it before, but it's been so long since we've seen it. That the reintroduction in this match tonight made it feel new again. I'll get exactly to what I'm referring to here in a few moments. That I think it was just enough to make it feel like new again.
Yeah.
But I'm really, I may be a bit more critical of American Alpha versus the Revival at Dallas, because we haven't seen it, and this is just like the dream tag team matchup for me. So we'll see, but god damn do I love me some American Alpha. And I love the start of this match too. The idea that Chad Gable and Simon Gotch, two grapplers, were really kind of chain wrestling a little bit for dominance. I love that beginning, because that was different. Normally it's just Chad Gable far and away is superior to his opposition, and he works over the body part. They maybe get one lucky blow in or something, then they get the tag, then the tide shifts. But here, Simon Gotch seemed to be pretty even keel with Chad Gable. It just really came down to, one move, and Chad Gable did get the winning exchange. But it was good to see Simon Gotch put up a bit more of a fight. Great back and forth between these two teams. In fact, let me just say, I think this was one of the Vaudevillains' best matches as a team as well.
Yeah.
Because, them doing this heel work and some of the stuff they did, particularly Simon Gotch, who I'm becoming more and more convinced is just a freak. And I actually becoming increasingly fascinated with the prospect of Simon Gotch doing singles. I don't know how far he'd get, but I would like to see a few singles matches with just Simon Gotch relying on his own ability, because I just really am a fan of how he works in there. Yeah, and then you get Jordan gets the hot tag, and just they light up everybody. I mean, you want to talk about Suplex City. I mean, my God, you got two of the finest upstanding citizens right here. And see, again, when I talk about just changing the little things, when it seemed like they were going for the finish, Jason Jordan gets that hard shoulder thrust to Aiden English. Then Gable gets the tag, but then Aiden, pushes Jordan off, and then he takes care of Gable. So, that kind of breaks it up a little bit, and match continues. Then you got the whole exchange where, Simon Gotch, he's on the outside, he leaps over Jordan, but then Gable drop kicks him, but then Jordan catches Gotch, and then he suplexes him on the outside.
That was a great spot.
Yeah, and then the sequence between Chad Gable and Aiden English where Aiden actually gets a power bomb out of it. Because at first I'm intrigued, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, Jordan belly-to-bellied Simon Gotch on the outside, but he seems like he's slow to get up. Chad Gable might actually have to find a way to win here. And, they go back and forth. Again, Gable gets hit with the power bomb. That doesn't do it. And then we go back. Jordan gets the tag, does the shoulder thrust to Aiden, another quick tag to Gable, so there's that fluidity there. Then they get their double team maneuver, and then they get the win. And that's not even mentioning probably the moment of the match for you and me both. I don't want to speak for you, but, I mean, Gable pulled out the chaos theory here. And it was a beautiful fucking chaos theory.
And the crazy thing, too, is that, you could tell it was a legit deadlift, too.
Yeah, dude, Gable's a freak. Gable's a fucking freak. I love athletes, man. I've already expressed, I think, here and on Twitter, I can't wait for the Summer Olympics simply for the amateur wrestling portion. I'm going to have my eye on a lot of people this year from all different countries. I eat that shit up. And just seeing Jason Jordan and Chad Gable just be so technically sound and so good and keeping it to the mat and the suplexes they pull out. I mean, this is my jam. This is my bread and butter, which is funny because my favorite wrestler is Johnny Mundo, and he really isn't that style at all. He's completely antithetical to that style.
Right.
But this has just always been my natural language. I know that's a weird way to put it, but it's just always something I've naturally gravitated towards ever since I was 10 years old. This is all I know. And it's just beautiful to see these guys come together, that they have a flow like Team Angle, but they dress like the Steiner brothers, and it just freaking works. It just really freaking works. And here's the thing. I love the Revival. I mean, this isn't even the case of, oh, God, I hate those teams, and oh, God, I love that team. I mean, I love what the Revival has done. I love what they're about. But my God, I will pop if American Alpha wins those tag titles. And I feel like it's been a while since I've had a really good mark-out moment, so I'm hoping American Alpha can give me my fix. Unless, of course, Johnny Mundo wins Aztec Warfare next week, then that won't be required. But I'm going to put all my eggs in the American Alpha basket right now. So, really hoping for those guys. Yeah, these guys are amazing, dude.
They're really good. They're really, really enjoyable.
So sick.
If you say so.
I just did. So you want to move on to our next segment?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't think we really have anything left to say. We had 2 shows in a row now tonight that didn't have anything happen after the result of the last match was determined. I'm weirded out.
Are they colluding? I wonder.
I mean, I would hope that Lucha Underground isn't colluding with anyone because they tend to do pretty well on their own,
Yeah, stay pure, Lucha Underground, please.
Please.
With that said, let's get on to our final segment: high spots, low shots. You know what? My low shot is Deonna Purrazzo because you were so cute. I'm gonna stop the evolution. No, you got stopped by the evolution. That's what happened. So get those facts straight next time, huh? All right, she's my low shot. What about you?
Yeah. I gotta say I kind of felt bad for Eva Marie tonight. I think Eva Marie's going to be my low shot, and that's a combination of me kind of feeling bad that she got destroyed and then pinned, but also the fact that she's Eva Marie and people hate her, and she lost tonight, and it's pretty great.
So let me just ask though, just so we're all clear. I mean, I get that you feel bad, but did you at least have a few giggles precede the guilt?
Let me see if I can be more clear, okay? I feel bad for Eva Marie, the character.
Right.
But, it's one of those things where when somebody's been around for as long as Eva Marie, the person has, and they've only gotten as good as she's gotten, you stop feeling bad for the person, and you start to resent the person a little bit. So, the fact that Asuka worked a little stiff with her tonight, and the fact that the crowd still hates her face, and the fact that Corey Graves got to go home sad tonight, yeah, it was a good night for me.
So we can say, yes, that you did giggle a little.
No, I didn't giggle. I was too busy just smiling from ear to ear.
That, we'll take it. All right.
There was no real action. It was just a constant state of bliss.
All right, my honorary high spot, I think, is going to be Asuka, because especially after that glowing endorsement of Eva Marie, it's clear that Asuka did a service to humanity tonight. But my actual high spot, clear as day, American Alpha. I mean, so freaking good. My favorite team right now. They are killing it. I hope they win the tag titles at Dallas. I'll be honest, I'm a bit tentative. But I do really believe they're going to be the next NXT Tag Team Champions, period. And I am so ready, willing, and Gable for that. So they are my high spot.
How Gable are you?
If it's on a scale of 1 to the distance between myself and the sun, it's the distance between myself and the sun. And that's a very, very large number. That's how Gable I am. So there you go.
Color me impressed. Color me impressed.
All right. I'm curious who your high spot is, though, this week.
Are you now?
I am. I'm sorry I have a vested interest in your life.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a bit of an underdog. My high spot's actually going to be Tomasso Ciampa.
I love it, dude.
Because I feel like he really showed a lot tonight, and I think that it's really telling that both you and I had the same thought that he needs to be Finn's either next or at least a near future opponent for the world title, because, yeah, I think that means that he's 100% on the right path, and I think commentary even made a note about how, like, it seemed like he was trying to find himself, and now it seems like he found what he was looking for.
Damn right he did. He whooped that ass.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you picked Tomasso, because I'll be honest, dude. American Alpha, obviously, they did have a great night, and obviously I'd be lying if I said my pick wasn't grounded at all in any kind of fandom. Because I'll tell you, like, Tomasso was going to be the other pick I was kind of waffling on. I'm like, do I go with the obvious choice of American Alpha? But Tomasso was the guy in the back of my mind, so I'm so, so glad you picked him, because, yeah, I'm loving what they're doing with him right now. It seems like, forget Tomasso finding himself, it seems like Creative finally found him and knew what to do, pulling the trigger, which I don't blame them for that. At least they were featuring him, but now you're really pushing him seriously.
Yep.
So this is a great time. Let me just ask you a quick question. I don't know if this will turn into a full-blown discussion or not. Like, we have a lot of quality heels on NXT, particularly in the NXT Heavyweight Championship picture, it seems, because you got Baron Corbin, Samoa Joe, Tommaso Ciampa's now working his way up. So, I mean, really, you could call her 3, maybe even more than that, but just 3 off the top of my head. Do you feel like we have enough baby faces to keep pace? Because I was kind of concerned about that tonight. I'm like, I'm really excited about all these heels. Obviously, I gravitate naturally towards heels. But, do you feel like we have enough baby
John,
faces?
I think my answer to your question is going to be another question. Do you think we need it?
But see, honestly, I don't know. Because didn't you once say, no, I don't think that was your theory, was it? In your early days, like developing your ideas about brands and stuff. Is it that you want more heels and less baby faces, or more baby faces and like less heels, but of like prime quality though?
No. The idea is that the fewer baby faces you have, the more it feels like they need to overcome.
That's right. So I guess for you personally, if you still stand by that, because I know that was quite some time ago and opinions change.
Yeah.
But if you still stand by that, you must feel like NXT's got kind of a sweet spot right now.
I do.
Good. I'm just confirming, I just want to have that question fielded out there. I don't know if I agree. I don't think you're wrong though. Like, I really have to figure myself out where I stand, because I did think about that tonight. I'm like, I'm loving the heels they're producing, and God, it's just such a great time to be a douchebag. I kind of want to push a kid in the middle of the street. Oh God, that was horrible. No cars though, no cars, I promise. Well, yeah, I promise, I'm going to commit. But yeah, it's a great time to be a douchebag. And I'm just wondering though, do we have enough babyfaces that'll really carry that load? But even if Finn was just the one solitary babyface, in that particular division, I think it's enough, because I think people love him and respect him so much, and that's the big thing. It's one thing to love somebody, but to really know the work they've put in and respect them for it, I think that's the one thing Finn's really got going for him. I'm just really curious, who is going to be the person to upend that title reign? It's been going on so long now. But yeah, we got a lot of quality heels to do it, so I'm glad I asked you that, though, because it was on my mind seeing Tomasso's match tonight, and I'm glad that that's the position you've taken. It's fine if we have fewer baby faces, because the heels, you keep producing them, you keep producing obstacles that way. So, good stuff. In fact, I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments. That'll be my personal question this week, if you guys want to answer it. Do you think we have enough quality baby faces on NXT, particularly in the NXT Championship division? Because that's kind of what was on my mind. So, with that said, Ashton, do you have any closing remarks?
I don't think I do. I think we covered pretty much all our bases tonight, and I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us too. This was really good. We did such an excellent job. But then again, when is that ever not the case? But with that said, guys,
just
God,
insist on pushing it, don't you?
I'm in such a mood tonight. With that said, guys, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made.
Tame.
I'm sorry, man. Got people sleeping over here. The best.
I was just going to say, it's only 1:15 in the morning. What are you holding back for?
I know. But just to remind you all, in case you forgot, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. Wait, beg pardon?
I said you made it worse by redoing it.
Well, you made it worse cutting off my flow, man. What the hell? Like, why even interrupt me when I'm almost done? Well, you guys know who that is. That's my co-word commentary Ashton there. So be sure to comment and... Yeah, they should. Do you want to give your dating profile right now? Do you like long walks on the beach? This is your time. Why don't you tell them how you feel? Jesus. I'm sorry, guys. I normally wait to drink until after the episode's over, but I couldn't help myself this week. Comment and subscribe on YouTube. You already know my question. Do you feel like we have enough quality babyfaces in the NXT Championship picture? I mean, Ashton, do you have a question? I know I usually like you to come up with a question this week.
No, you know what? Let's just go with your question. I like that.
I'm actually glad you like my question. Like, I was so nervous. I'm like, does he like it? Is he judging me right now inside? So that's actually a huge relief.
You're so hard right now.
I knew it. Oh my God, I knew it. I'm gonna keep it together. All right. So we'll get down to the comments and do it. Be sure to take the conversation over to Pweetop, that is pro wrestling, is taking over Facebook. A lot of NXT fans on the Pro Wrestling is taking over Facebook group. I'm sure a lot of people freaking out. Shinsuke Nakamura coming to NXT, so you can freak out with them together. You can also check out the TWitWoW Facebook page, like and share and comment on the content there. If you don't like Facebook, though, if you think Facebook sucks and Mark Zuckerberg is more like Mark Sucks Burgers, you can go check out the TWitWoW subreddit. There you will find all of our TWitWoW. Okay, yeah, I went there, okay? There you can find all the TWitWoW content, and members of the TWitWoW subreddit can create threads of their own on all things related to pro wrestling. But if you've actually enjoyed all the bickering that's, kind of preceded this outro, you could probably see more of it if you follow us on the ground level, that being Twitter. I am at John_TWitWoW. Ashton is at apond404. That's the letter A. Pond, body of water, Pond, 404. And we will see you again for our Thursday night SmackDown review, or as I like to call it, reviewing the Kevin Owens show, because he's really marked SmackDown as his territory. What's he going to do tomorrow night? Well, you'll just have to wait and see, and we guarantee you'll always get your best coverage here at TWitWoW. Till then, guys, tune in. Peace out.